Morning, friends.
Hello.
Give me a quick yes if all of you are able to hear me. So please use the chat window. Okay. So Pranay, can you enable the video cams for the panelists?
Suchit, good morning. Am I audible?
Yeah. Hi, Sunil. Good morning. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. How are you?
Good, good. So Sunil, we'll just get started in a minute.
Okay.
Can you just check if your cam is enabled? Are you able to start your cam?
So, Suchit, when I try to start my video, it is just popping up with a message, you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. I don't know why.
Okay. Pranay, can you just check for Sunil if we can enable the video? Yeah. So Sunil, just give a minute. We'll try to enable your video as well.
Sure, Suchit.
Can I just confirm once you have changed the setting?
Okay.
Try now, Sunil.
Okay. Let me try it now.
Okay, I can see you. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll get started. Smita, you're not able to hear. Okay, that's weird. And just write back to Smita that she needs to probably relog in or try from a mobile. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if Smita understands VIC, but just write audible. Okay, yeah. So I think Smita is able to hear us now. Wonderful. Okay, so hi friends, let's get started. First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you. And today's session is quite special because of multiple reasons. One, today is the last session for our Southeast Asia conference. But what makes it even more special is we have Sunil, who's one of our old students, and it's been great kind of seeing our cohort members succeeding in the space of data science and AI, going out in the world and capturing the space and making a name for themselves. So this is something that really kind of inspires us, and I presume a lot of you are attending this session live today. Sunil is one such example for all of you that if you ever want to kind of make it big out there, you always have ways to do it. Okay, so Sunil, I'll give a short introduction to Sunil, and obviously post that Sunil is going to define a lot more deeper aspects about his background. So Sunil currently works as in Unilever as senior manager analytics, and some of his primary work involves in working with a lot of data that Unilever generates. And as all of you know, Unilever being a mammoth in itself, they generate volumes and volumes of data. So he's leading a team of analysts and data scientists and engineers to build these products. Now, Sunil has more than 10 years of experience in the data analytics space, and he's held positions in like various companies like DBS Bank as a senior consultant as well. Now, he's done his MBA from National University of Singapore, which in itself is a very special college for MBA aspirants. So Sunil has kind of touched base on a lot of awesome stuff. So let's hear it firsthand from Sunil, who himself has now become a pretty polished and experienced practitioner in this space. So over to you, Sunil, and let's discuss, or let's learn from you over the next 40-45 minutes. And then after that, I need a little 10-15 minutes of your time for probably a lot of questions that we have to ask you.
Okay. Yeah.
Over to you, Sunil.
Yeah. Thank you, Suchit. Thanks. And good morning to all the members. Right now, for me, it's good afternoon, but good morning to all. And first of all, I hope weekend is going fine for everyone. And what Suchit has told, and I just add on some of the points from that one. So I've done masters in business analytics and data science from National University of Singapore in 2020 for 1 year course, and it's been almost after 14 years I've gone for my masters. And it is something which I was especially inspired to go for from the industrial perspective, from the real-time perspective standpoint of view. So a bit more brief, I have worked mainly into the banks, insurance, telecom sector, and right now into the FMCG sector I'm working currently from the analytics perspective. And I have almost 14 years of experience, started my career with testing. Then I moved to SaaS in 2008. Into the reporting and dashboarding perspective bank. At that time, we were not very much aware of all these things, but later on, we know that this is the part of the analytics and going on. From the bank perspective, I worked for the credit risk models for Barclays. And then I worked for freelancer, also worked for 1 year in Singtel, for the Singtel company in Singapore, which is a telecom domain in itself is a very huge company. So yes, overall, I have a lot of experience from the data analytics and data science perspective. And today, the main session and the main agenda for my discussion is what actually we are learning and what actually is the market. What is the difference, where there is lack, where there's a gap, and how the things are going on. And another thing is all the things what we are learning at a moment and how we are proceeding. Is it really worth? Is it really getting worked into the industry standalone point of perspective or not? And how we can improve and gauge to get the best and the best of everything from the data analytics and data science perspective. So, Suchit, I'm not able to move my, so I have to share my PPT.
Yeah. So we'll unshare the current screen, and you will have an option to share your screen. It's a green button at the bottom.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah. So when I stop sharing the current screen, yeah. So now you should be able to share Sunil.
Okay. So is my screen visible?
Not yet. Possibly you might want to select. So once you press on share screen, you'll get a pop-up. You can select which screen you want to share.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Now it's visible. Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to run it on presentation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So data analytics. Yeah. So is it fine right now? Hello, Suchit?
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Yes. So this is the basic introduction I have given about myself, like how much, like the kind of experience I'm having till now, and what are the current roles and responsibilities. I'm handling right now a team of almost 20 members, and it is on the migration of the databases to the Google Cloud platform, and along with the migration of all the reports from the various segments to the Microsoft Power BI from Tableau. So these are the projects which I'm handling. I'm not getting my hands dirty on right now at a moment because companies are expecting to lead the things from the technical as well as from the functional perspective. Yes, but the teams who are doing it, and I'm very much thoroughly involved with them from every perspective to get the work done. So the main agenda for today's discussion is why there is a gap. So we have a gap right now into the industry from what the client is looking for and what we are delivering. So on this perspective, I want to start with a very fact. I'm sure that pretty much aware, and all of you are also, that 87% of the data science models right now does not get productionized. It will be surprised to know, but yes, that is a true fact. So all the things which we are looking at the LinkedIn from the perspective that people are developing these deep learning models, neural networks, and giving them some examples, are they getting implemented into the real time? Are people like us or the companies are taking the advantage or benefit and making the things automated and simplified for us? Yes and no. It's like that. So 87% is a huge number to not get implemented of the machine learning models and the data science models right now. And let me tell you very frank, and I've also experienced in my career, the main gap right now, why the things are not working out, is the real communication gap or the business understanding. A lot of times, and still, it's not that we can work out on this. Yes, we can work out, but that is the main and the core reason why the things are not working at the moment. because a lot of times there is a huge gap between what the customer or the client is asking and what we are getting delivered. And we just look into the things, start blindly on that thing. A very simple example, like I'm pretty much sure there are a lot of freshers and 1 or 2, 3 years of experience there into the call today. So there is a very typical jargon. The moment data science word comes to our mind, automatically it becomes like, oh, it's to build a model. Okay, the people, without even giving a simple single thought, they just think, oh, classification, go into the logistic decision tree, go into the random forest, oh, go into the neural networks and try to get the accuracy as much as possible. No, not at all, not at any cost. The thing is, we made this belief by looking at the Kaggle examples, by looking at the things which we study. Yes, I'm not saying it is not important. It is very important, but there are a lot of other things which we should know while going from the data science and the business solutions perspective and modeling perspective, R, Python, and people think, yeah, we know data science. No, I can say it's not something technical which you can learn in 3 months, 4 months. It is something which you have to practice. It is an art in itself. And trust me, understanding of the data science, not from the modeling perspective, from the business perspective, is the only reason why the business are failing right now these days, because there is a gap of this particular business understanding between the team of data scientists and the team of the stakeholders. And earlier on, it was thought like, oh, I'm an individual contributor into the data science. No, it is a teamwork. It is a collaborative work. So let me start right now from the very simple example. So, and we have to start, we never have to start in this direction from a very complex perspective. So there is a very simple statement, keep the thing simple. Always start from the simplistic perspective. People don't go into very simple statistical things and they just think, just split the data, create the model, and that's it. No. Try to look into the things, try to understand what the business wants, try to make your thought process from the stakeholders or the client perspective, from their shoes, and see what you want to deliver and what the client is asking. Are you on the same page? This communication gap, and I can tell you, this is happening with me also, in our organization also, my previous organizations also, a lot of things. The communication gap, what client has said, what we think, and we start working on that. A lot of times, people do not take the approval. And very simple thing, what we think, we just say to the client a lot of times, we are thinking in that way. We don't go by the examples. Trust me, the more detailed you are, the more rework you have to do on your data science work. And analytics is one of the best parts. And from analytics, let me tell you again, it's not only about data exploring. Yes, data exploring, data munging, feature engineering, creating the dashboards are some of the tasks which we have to do, which are very important. But again, the thing is, from what perspective? Perspective is the key for the success of any data science, success or the failure of any data science model. It is like that. And again, we when we learn all these things, we just try to be generic. Yes, it's good to have a generic knowledge of a lot of things. Okay, but I want to tell that the same thing, what people used to think and people used to do, they used to implement the similar expect in all the industry sectors. And let me give you a very simple example, like classification into the risk model. So I was part of that. So they have the different percent of confidence level, like 95% accuracy they want. But do you think that 95% of accuracy will work in the healthcare industry? It's the most sensitive one. They go up to beyond 99%. They want to get that particular accuracy because the span of life and death comes. So we have to think about the technical things from the business standpoint. So every industry has a different norms, has a different ways, and even in the same industry, two different competitors, like two different banks, you do not say that both are implementing the same type of model. Their requirements are different. Their approach towards the business is different. Their way of getting the profit and the revenue is different. So you cannot say the business model of the risk model of Stand Chartered will be the same as the risk model of DBS or Barclays or anything like that. So yes, we have to understand the business perspective also. These are the things which you cannot learn in 15 days. Again, I'm saying that we have to develop, we have to look into the things from a broader perspective. And broader perspective means think from the starting, and the thing, not the end point is not implementation. The end point is when the client or the stakeholder is going to make the benefits, going to implement it, going to use it, and he is actually taking the what you can call it advantage or benefit out of it. So that is end to end. Getting the requirement and implementation is not the end. Getting the requirement and making the business revenue for the client is the end point. And it's the real fact of the industry. And there are a lot of reasons again for that, why there is a gap, why the things are still not working out, why we are missing on some of the things which client wants and we are not able to deliver, or we are having something we are not able to give it. So business understanding is one thing. Another thing is, do not jump to the model directly. First of all, let me tell you, 80% of our situations, problems, our direction has been given by the EDA in every industry. Trust me, guys. EDA means look at the data, see how the data is there, how the trend is there, how we are going to give the best insights of there. And insights means like not looking at the high level perspective, how the things are correlated and how it is going to affect the business. And from a lot of perspectives, like from the gender perspective, from the location perspective, and from the segment wise, age wise, there are a lot of different sectors on the basis of which we segment the data, and we can make some certain conclusions and give the recommendations also to the business. 80% of the things are very much clear with the EDA, I want to suggest. So always go step by step, step by step. The another thing, the another problem which comes is we start doing it. Is it possible or not? Have you ever think about it before starting it? Do we do the POC? POC is a proof of concept. I think everyone knows. Is it really feasible? Is it something we can deliver? Just saying blindly, oh yes, we can do it, doesn't give any good image or good feedback. It's like we have to do the proof of concept. We have to come up with certain solutions, certain outcomes which is possible. We have to come up and discuss with the stakeholders and do the discussions and tell them from time to time and point and how the things are getting progress and what is our thought process, how we are going to approach. Trust me, POC is the thing which at a moment a lot of companies are doing before going directly jumping into any particular conclusion. And it is very, very important. So what do you think? All the data scientists start working on the project? No. We have to think from the feasibility perspective, and feasibility is very, very important from this. Another thing is, whenever the client, the data has been given, are you sure that the data which client or the stakeholder has provided to us is enough for building the model? No, not at all. We have to be very much clear. Let me tell you an example. We have in my last organization, we have created a migration model and for the bank, and it is for the Singapore data at that time. So the stakeholders who are the seniors to the one whom we were reporting, they thought the similar model is going to get implemented for the Hong Kong and the Taiwan one also. For the Singapore, it was okay, but for Taiwan and Hong Kong, it was not working at all. The model got failed. Later on, the things backfired to us, that the things are not working. We were like really surprised that it's been working for 4 months, and all of a sudden how it is not working. Then they have told us that we try to implement the similar model for Taiwan and Hong Kong, and it's not working. Then we come to know that the data which has been given to us and the data for Hong Kong and Taiwan are altogether totally different. We have to create altogether different type of model. We have to implement all these things into a single model to run it for any country. So initially, what has been told, we have to include, is this the final scope, or are further scopes are going to get added to this one? And we have to make this particular surety with the client also. Then after we come to know that these things are different, then we implemented or enhanced our model from other countries also. Then we asked which other Southeast Asian countries you want to implement. Then we come to know that 3 more countries are there, Laos and Thailand and Malaysia or Cambodia is one. We get the sample and they have told us in the future they are going to implement the migration model for all of them. We have taken the data, we have made it generic. So trust me, whenever when we ask the client from the data perspective, we want at least that amount of data that we are able to build the model, and the data should come from all the sources, not from a single source. Right now, the data is spending exponentially like anything. It can be structured, unstructured, semi-structured, everything. So client does not tell us that if client tells us that if it comes from only A and nothing more is going to get implemented and nothing more going to get enhanced, then we have to make the model on the data of A. Else we have to make sure that all the perspectives from A, B, C, D, different sources, the client is planning to do that. Then we have to take these points into our consideration. And trust me, these things are happening into the industry right now. And the only thing is the communication gap, the understanding gap, and on the same page is another gap. And these are the main reasons why the project a lot of times get delayed and go stretch by 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, and all that. So these are the main reasons. What they are expecting, what we are delivering doesn't match, and client is not able to make the profit, and the things does not get productionized at a lot of times. So there is a huge gap right now. Data, client understanding, business understanding is one of the main ones. And again, from this particular point, I've just said this thing. I want to share a very good thing with you guys, and this thing I've come to know through my college prof, and he was the founder of Fractal Analytics. He was my professor in Singapore. So when we started learning about classification modeling and regression models and NLP and other so unsupervised models like clustering segmentation. So he told me that it's always good to have the experience or the basic business understanding of all the sectors up to a certain extent, so that you should be aware that the things which you are learning, how it is going to get implemented. So I have this habit. I have enrolled by his suggestion to some of the newsletters. I read it at least once a day. Okay, any one newsletter. If you have the time, do for 2. Go read 2 newsletters, one in the morning, one in the evening, anytime whenever you feel comfortable. And trust me, it's not gonna take more than 10 to 15 minutes. Right? One newsletter. Initially, you will find it hard. You will not able to understand, but trust me, after 3 months down the line, you are able to match up with a lot of industries. You are able to get a basic idea how the industries are operating, how the industries are moving on. So that is another important thing. And after 3 months, you are able to see that how a particular thing, I'm just giving some simple examples, how the classification models runs into the banking, into the FMCG, into the insurance, into the retail, into the shipping, supply chain, and various industries. So make this habit to understand the business. So data munging and torturing the data is one thing, but torturing your mind with the business is the most important thing. Trust me, without that, no matter which model you know, which geometry, which is decision tree you know, if you do not understand what the client wants, the model understanding is of no use, because that is the starting step for us to go ahead and learn a lot of things from the business perspective. So this is my humble request to all the guys who are new into this industry and who wants to pursue their career and go ahead. Learning the technical is important and equally important, but along with that, learning how they are getting implemented and how the industry is using it is equally important. Getting an idea, you actually, what happens is when you do all these things, you create a framework in your mind from the industrial perspective. Oh, these things are getting implemented to that particular extent. And all the things are we learning online or through the course? Till what extent the things are getting implemented at the moment? That is very, very important. And data sufficiency, the amount of data which we need for the model. It should not be like that. Client is having 100 millions of data and he's giving you just 1 million of data and make a model on that. No, not at all. It should not be like that. We should have a certain amount of data, or up to that extent where we can say, yes, we have built the model and model is not going to deviate what are our expectations and what are not. Another thing is, still, I have data scientists in my team. So a very typical jargon in the mind of the people is they always look at one particular feature for the classification models: accuracy. They used to tell Sunil, the accuracy is 98%, the model is good template. I said, seriously, don't you think is that overfitting? He said, let's look at the data and all that. It becomes important. Let me tell you, for the money laundering, for the fraud detection, accuracy is not your key. Precision is your key. We have to find those, in that one, we have to find those people who are expected to fraud, not overall. So normally, if you have records of 10,000, hardly 500 people are going to fraud, or 100 out of 10,000. If you build the model and run and create it and do the accuracy on your test data, it's going to be amazing. But do not depend on that. Again, what feature of the accuracy perspective, like how the data is, which feature perspective is bias, variance, and precision, what we have to take recall from the business, it is more important than only looking at the accuracy. Accuracy is a measure which is good, but on that basis, you cannot make the final decision. So again, that thing, so all the things somehow related with our starting point, what business wants and what we are delivering. Because accuracy is quite easy, very simple thing. True positive, true negative divided by the total. You can get, for a lot of models, you can going to get it 95, 98%. But really, don't you think the data is overfitted for this one? Or have we made the model so much complex to that particular extent that it is giving the output of this thing? And trust me, these things which you are reading of while doing the course with the Insaid and switches and all, these norms and these things are still happening into the industry. It's going on. It's there. So understand. So that is why what is I'm saying again and again. Business is the one who drives each and every aspect of your data. A very simple example I just want to give. Let's suppose you are into this lifestyle and pantaloons, and they want to get the analysis of your data, and they want some insights and recommendations, and they want to increase the sales from the woman perspective, from the ladies perspective, not from the gents perspective. And they will give you all the data. So if you do not know what the client wants, what person normally starts, he will start exploring the data from a normal perspective. But when they have told that they want to run their campaigns for the women especially, then we have to focus only on the women. We have to separate our data. So this is a very simple example where I'm telling what the business is required and what you are doing is aligned. If it is not aligned, trust me, you are going to give the results, but it is not what they are expecting. It's like that. So these are some of the points which I have already told. Like EDA, I don't think people are very much serious about the EDA perspective, but trust me, 85% or 85% of the things, how the things are moving and how the things will approach. Because let me tell you, when the client or the stakeholder comes to you to build any solution for them, client never asks you to build a model. Trust me, client said that I want a solution. So understand these typical minute things which are very, very important. So, and just by doing the EDA and communicating that with the stakeholders and discussing with them, like this is the data which you have given, and from this, these are the insights which you are able to derive from it. Client then comes with what they are looking for. A lot of times, client and stakeholders are aware what they are looking, what they want to grow, but sometimes they want to get some better solutions along with that, and they are not technically aware. So that is why they come to us. We provide them the solutions as the consultants, and we do the EDA. And with the EDA, our business horizon, their understanding of their own data and cases, and that gives us a clear vision to go ahead with that one. Client never asks you. I'm pretty much sure client never said that build a regression model, build a classification model, build a clustering. No, client always comes to, I want a solution for this one. Okay, then our understanding, then their understanding, note down. And people think, so this is another habit which I still practice, although I'm into the industry for 14 years. People do not have the habit of taking the notes while the discussions are going on. Trust me, make the notes, make the proper documentation, give to the client, stakeholder, this is our understanding, tell me, is it fine? And you can tell them from the example perspective. We should have the sign off for all these small examples, for all these small things, because initially you think these are small, but later on, when you have done a lot of work and you are able to see or not implement one of the features which they are looking for, just think the amount of rework which you have to do. All the things we have to change the variables, change the correlation, look at the new features, the features which you need to drop. It takes a lot of free work. So you can call it the missing of the important things or a bit of carelessness. And it's not that it's written somewhere. It's a normal practice. So, which I personally think that having the common understanding on the common book, or not on the common, on the same page is the most important thing right now. So I again emphasis on one thing from the industry perspective. If you want to excel in your career from the data science perspective, business acumen is one of the most important things. And data scientist persons are not the one who you think from the technical perspective. They consider you as a techno-functional or an SME who has a basic understanding or a good understanding at least of business. So let me give an example. This side, the business is there. This side, technical people are there. So the data scientist, this data analytics is the bridge. It is the bridge between that, where you are able to work with the business, you understand them, you are able to understand what the technical people are doing, and you are the cohesive force which make them join and provide the solution end to end. So try to look the things from the business. It is the most important thing, and that is one of the reasons things are not working out till now, because they think people try to implement what they have learned, but what they have learned is from the another industry perspective, in which the one in which you are working. I'm telling you, like for this FMCG, there are some models which we are running, the classification models. Their assumptions are altogether very different from what I was doing for the bank. So I cannot say that in the bank I have learned this here, because here the requirement or the need is different. So I have to, my approach should be different. And business understanding provides you right approach to go ahead and build the solution. It's like that. So again, I'm saying business important, business acumen, or everyone has to stress. This is one of the things which you read one in one of the videos with Insaid, like how to impute the missing data. Trust me, it is actually very, very important. Lot of time. And how you are doing, we have to communicate this thing with the stakeholders about the data, from raw data to the clean data, how we are working on it. What is the thing? It should not be like that. Client has given the data, we have done the things at our own end and start building the model. No, we have to communicate back to the stakeholders that this is the data, these are the things, these are the discrepancies, and this is our plan to work on this particular raw data, on the missing values, on the garbage values, and all that. Might be you are thinking something and client is not interested in that one. Then what is the point? And missing data, imputing missing data does not only mean that replace it with mean, median, or the last value for the gender and all that. No, I want to tell you, for imputing the missing models, there are separate models which has been run, especially from the banking perspective, because money is involved over there. So filling the missing values in itself requires the different models. So modeling doesn't mean only the final solution. Modeling comes a part in between also, even for the ED also. It's like that. So feature engineering is the key, trust me, and try to get your hands dirty as much as possible. I'm pretty much sure no one like it initially, but trust me, after 2-3 months, when you look into the, before going into the modeling, if you are able to understand how to do ED properly, trust me guys, your problem will be 90% solved. You are able to understand the data very well. Then after, when you are going to build the model, you are totally just clear with your ideas and how you have to go ahead with that. So it's like that. So again, on the same thing, communication and the business important. We have to very much proactive with the stakeholders. One aspect I want to tell, like a lot of times, clients say that we want this, we want this. Data scientist is something which gives us, data science field is something which is helping the clients to give them the better business, better revenues, better profitability. But we have to be practical also, that this is not 100% magic. Very simple example, like if I say I am Sunil and Suchit say I am male, and another guy say I am Indian, and another one say that I'm Singaporean. So the sentences are same. It's our mind which thinks that one is telling the name, one is telling the gender, one is telling the nationality. But machines are also able to interpret with the help of NLP right now. But there are still certain limitations are there, which we have to make the client and the stakeholder aware of the practicality. Yes, we are going to help you out to make the things better for you, to take the better decisions. But again, we have to very much clear that, boss, this is not the magic. This is not what you're expecting 100%. It is going to get 100%. Even best of the best models does not go above 95, 98%. So the 2% inaccuracy, all the things we have to keep in our mind right now while working on these factors. That is one of the very, very important steps. Right now, a lot of stakeholders are also technical. They also getting involved with us, like how you are approaching the problem, what is your thought process, what is your approach. So align with them, working with them is another important thing to get the solution. So working with them closely, keeping the communication gaps, it will make 1 + 1 = 11, not 1 + 1 = 2. It comes like that, because they were running that particular business or anything for quite a lot of years, and you have started looking into those things. So there might be a lot of important key points which you are missing. Although you have attended the calls, you have the business understanding, but having alignment with them and getting them properly involved into a lot of the various steps which you are using to build the solution is very, very important, and the key factor along with that. So these are some of the important things. And like from the communication, it's minutes of meeting, MOM, which we call it, and it is very, very important to have the proper discussion with them. This is, again, it comes undirected and the directed exploration. Undirected exploration, I give something and you will start blindly. Directed is, I give something, you ask me that what you want, what is your understanding, what is the solution you want, what is your end goal. That is a directed. And a lot of times, undirected exploration happens from the EDA perspective. People start working blindly. Either they don't want to understand, or they think that they know everything, but no. And in the end, they are going to create a lot of solutions in which a lot of times stakeholders are not very much interested. They create, and it takes a lot of time. And when the client says, no, I'm not looking for this one, very simple thing. So having the direct approach, what it does, it streamlines your thought, make you look while building the solution. It makes you think from the end goal perspective. So it makes you a bit of reverse engineering thing also. So this is the solution client wants. This is the data I have. So how should I approach so that I can get the direct output? In the undirected one, it's like you are left in the middle of the ocean and you don't know in which direction you have to go, what you have to explore, nothing like that. You don't ask the questions to the stakeholders. And I'm telling you all these things not from the new solution perspective. Still, all the solutions which are already existing, a lot of time, new enhancements, new things are going to get implemented in the already built solution. From that one also, we have to be very, very much proactive while working on all these aspects. And trust me, people have said data science is the sexiest job of the 21st century. It is, yes, absolutely. But the approach should be right, thought process should be right, work on the skills. From the data science, don't think it's Python, don't think it's model. It's business along with data data understanding, proper understanding of the how the things are going to proceed from end to end. That is the proper data science. And we have, and you cannot say that, oh, I'm good in this one, I can do this one. No. Every company right now are looking at your business acumen also. So there are a lot of people into the industry who are very good from the modeling perspective in the algorithm, and they do not have the business nuisance. They don't understand what is the business. So it's very, very difficult a lot of times to come with that one. And trust me, it's not that difficult that you thought, and but not that much simple also. It's just a simple basic approach in a particular direction, along with dedicated work and continuously. Although I'm working into analytics for almost more than 10 years, but still on the weekends, I used to read some of the books from the data storytelling perspective, data analytics, like how the big data is changing the analytics perspective and all that. Learn, read, business. These are the things in which when you down the line after 6 months, then you come to know what you were thinking earlier on from that particular perspective, and right now how much you know is altogether very different, and what the industry is requiring right now. Data scientists, but they should have the business knowledge along with it. Earlier on, it was the part of the SME, subject matter expert, but right now, when they are trying to build the solution, they are looking for someone who is very well aware of the business, who is very well aware of the technical things. A single thing is not going to take you in the longer run in any particular direction. But yes, start working on all these things. So my thing is, the things are not working out, the business approach, the gap between the communication, the gap is the communication gap between the stakeholders and the developer or the data science team. One more thing, I just recalled it. People think data engineering is altogether a different aspect. Implementation of the models in itself is a part of the data science project. How we are going to implement the models. Right now, just when we say write the code in Jupyter, people write the code in Python, people open the Jupyter and start working. But do you think that the companies, when they go for the implementation perspective, they build the models in Python, Jupyter? Jupyter has a lot of issues from the enhancement version, from the productionized perspective, and there are a lot of problems. See how the real-time data get into the model, see how the model is getting implemented, and how the client is going to use it from end to end. Bigger the picture you made in your mind with your problem, and see it and try to understand each aspect, gives you a better understanding and a better sense right now. So that is the thing I want to say and share with you guys. So again, it's like that. What if you know what you have to do? Which is the most important, and which lot of, even I have also done the same mistake. When I started my career, later on when I moved into the analytics, I was into the reporting. I used to report in SAS and Excel. So the data has been given and we have been told that you have to work. But later on, slowly we understand, like, oh, for the different teams, for the different models, the purpose of creating these solutions are very different. So we have to then we have started understanding the business. It's gonna take time because we people are more technical oriented a lot of times. But once you start understanding the business, then how to implement it becomes very easy. Right now, if I ask anyone who's having the basic understanding of a business or good understanding, that write a loop for me in Python or write a loop in R. Google it, you can get a lot of things. Okay, it's not a problem if you have a basic sense, basic understanding. But why we are going to write it, how we are going to implement it, what is the purpose? It is more important. So that is the thing I really want. And thank you guys, Suchit.
Okay, so I think a pretty awesome set of information shared by you, Sunil. Thank you for your time and thank you for sharing such valuable knowledge. Now, friends, what Sunil shared today is possibly a very, I would say, less discussed information in the data science space, and a lot of people are afraid of it to some extent. Either they are afraid of it or they are not very comfortable talking about this in public.
Yes.
The reason being is these are pointers which are very hard to kind of convince people of. And Sunil actually took this bold step to kind of come up and talk about these pointers, which itself in companies people don't discuss much.
Yes.
Okay, so I think Sunil, you can vouch for this, right? This is not something that a lot of people within the companies also like to discuss, right? So as a first question, okay, as a first question follow-up to your talk is, if at all, let's say people fall into the space where the companies, the mindset for being data driven is very low. What do you do in such cases? How do you convince them of what should be the right steps forward to become a data driven company? Because you'll have a lot of friction there. Okay. So what do you do in such cases?
I do not know the name of it. So the approach is right now, data is the biggest boon. Data is the gold right now, even the diamond. And just imagine, from a very simple perspective, everyone watches Netflix. Okay. It comes with certain type of solution, how these things are working right now, how we are able to come up with the various pop-ups, various things, and how, if I think you know that Instagram and Facebook has that if they access your voice and the photos and you just say the word, it comes up with certain recommendations, go and buy this. So data is right now something which organizations, we have to convince them with our case studies, with our proof, like the data where you are and to the next level. If you want to go from this level to the next level, right now, the only thing which can take you is the data and nothing else. And from the data perspective, I just want to tell one thing. It's not like the solution, it's the experience, it's the customer experience, which people are mainly attracted towards. I can give you a very simple example. Like, let's suppose anyone calls the bank and they get a response within 5 minutes. So the customer is getting a good experience. And the same person used to call the Flipkart or Amazon. They also want the similar type of experience from that thing also. That makes them more attractive, more loyal, and increasing the revenue. And in the end, no matter what model any company, any segment, any sector, any industry in the world is working on, the baseline is the profitability and the revenue. Am I right, Suchit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's the customer experience, which makes the data, which people are providing to us as a solution to get the better out of it. They are not competing right now with the competitors. They are competing out right now from the customer experience perspective. And it is the thing which is making them go ahead of a lot of people. And the baseline for this is the data. It's like that.
I think very beautiful point that Sunil just mentioned, that don't try to convince first by building things internally, but first try to convince by drawing analogies from some other industry or some other application. So something like in banking, tell them what is the benefit of customer experience that you'll get if you respond to the customer immediately. Something that happens in Amazon. Okay, Amazon responds to your customer queries almost immediately. Okay, so when you can show the value add from a parallel industry or a parallel work, I would say workflow, that's where you can at least give them an idea what is possible. Now, once you give them an idea what is possible, after that it's just a follow-up of, okay, how do we do that in our ecosystem? So wonderful point, Sunil. In fact, a lot of people say that, why don't you build something? Okay, why don't you build something and show it to your management? But as you rightly pointed out, even before building, there's a very simple step, which is draw an analogy, show what is possible, and then if they're happy, then build something. Okay, so I think that's a great insight, Sunil. Now, moving on to the next question. So this question is around the idea that, let's say, if you're a company, okay, you don't have much visibility in terms of what you're trying to solve. So something like indirect exploration. So I picked up the word from your slide, which is indirect exploration. Any experiences that you would like to share, okay, around indirect exploration that you personally have benefited from, and what kind of problems did you ultimately figure out, and how did you go about solving it?
I've that particular example, like suppose from the retail perspective, have given you, I have my data. Let's suppose of pantaloons or lifestyle, I have the data. I will come and say that I just want some solutions for this one, and another person will start on this one. So I say, and he started. It's totally undirected because we haven't see how the things will work. If I know what you want, okay. So for that, the communication is there. Let's suppose a person, a very newbie person has joined, and I said that as a lifestyle owner, I want to say that I want to I have to create new campaigns for the women right now, and how the things are going on, and the people will start working on that one. So in this way, again, so this is very open-ended, very open-ended, Suchit. Okay, here the things which we have to make our thought process in that way. Okay, for the women perspective you want, is there any particular area like Haryana, Punjab, and UP in any particular segment you want to target? What is the age group in which you are targeting? Do you want to increase your sales on your retail stores, or you want to increase your sale on the mobile app, or you want to on the third party vendors like Amazon or that one? So when these things come, like these particular points come, so what you are doing, you're narrowing down your approach towards the solution. So right now, when say that no, like I said, Suchit, I want to increase my sales of the women in Delhi into the age group of 30 to 45 for the sports category, and I want to increase my sales on my app. Okay, in that way, see, stakeholders a lot of time does not give all the things in one go. We should not start working on that one. And later on, when we come up with our own insights and recommendations, it's like, what is that? I'm not able to draw something out of the insights which you have done. So just making this particular thing from the directed approach, understanding, and you can see everyone learn a lot of things when they are working into the industry with other team members, your boss, read on the internet, and all these things. Then this thing will work. I was reading a case study of Nike. I can share an example with you. A few days back, I was reading a case study of Nike versus Adidas, and we all know that Nike business is something you cannot compare in comparison to Adidas. The reason is, and the reason is the loyalty program of Nike is so amazing, and the customer experience and the campaigns they used to run for the various segments, it's like nothing else. And right now, Nike has come up not only for the kids, they have come up with the newbies also between 3 to 7 years of age. Just imagine, they have created such data, married kids, they have found out the data of the kids, and they were approaching with the kids product and all that. And just imagine if they are providing a experience to them, to 3 to 5 or 7 years of kids of a Nike, and later on they become the loyalty, and it's going to increase their revenue to any level. So that particular vision, that particular sense, that particular clarity, it is very important right now. So that is the thing, directed approach, what they want. Okay, this is my approach. Okay, this is this. So it would be like that. So it's not a random or vague, because if you random or vague will give the random and vague insights and random and vague recommendations, and in the end, and you will not say to the stakeholder, you have not told us. Stakeholder will point, you have not asked us. So it's us who have to get engaged with the stakeholder to that extent that it's not there, it's your own work, own business, and you have to raise the business from your own perspective. So we have to think from the other side of the table. Only then we are able to come up and implement the solutions. Trust me.
I think this is a very good point. But before I move on to the next question, which I've just pasted on the screen, I will come to the next question, but friends, one very good reference that I had read some time back about indirect exploration is this beautiful use case that United Airlines had. Read this particular article. From the data that they have been collecting, they barely kind of had made use of it. Okay, and this was a $1 billion opportunity that they had been missing over a long period. And once they started taking it seriously, they started doing indirect exploration of the data, and there was so much of value add that they generated. Okay, that they actually were surprised that you literally had a gold mine sitting in your house and you did not see it.
Yes.
So this is the benefit of indirect exploration, and eventually indirect turns into a direct exploration. So once you find those set rules of processes and activities that you need to do with that data, you convert it to a direct exploration. So
So the thing is, I'm not saying that undirected exploration is bad. Trust me, it's a lot of times it gives those insights which even a lot of people are not aware of. Then they start thinking from that particular, and automatically it comes into the directed one. Oh, this thing is also missing. They are not aware of that. So instead, what they want, if we are able to give a better solutions with those which they want and along with the other one, it's something like that. And that is also equally important.
Yeah, it is very important. I think in any industry, you don't come up with magical answers without looking at your data.
Yes.
Only when you see your data, you realize, oh, I should have done this.
Yes.
Okay. And that only strikes you when you look focused into your data. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Like, think about it. If you are working in banking sector, okay, you're dealing with retail banking, you can't think of every possible problem that the customer is facing. Because how many problems would you personally have faced? Probably very limited. Okay. But say if you get the data of 1 million customers, retail banking customers, okay, and you see their behavior, that's where you start finding patterns that, you know what, a lot of people dislike going to ATMs. Okay. Now, why is it so? You can now start thinking on those lines. Okay. So a simple survey that, do you like to go to ATMs? Maybe almost 73% people say no. Very simple data. It's not a rocket science data. But this is the point where you start thinking, okay, why do I have such a high percentage number of people who say they don't like to visit ATMs? Okay. Is going to bank more comfortable? The answer is definitely no. You go there, you write a withdrawal slip, and then you get your money. That's too much of hassle, too much of pain. But then people don't want to go to ATMs. Now what? What next? Okay, so these are things that you got to kind of think actively on your data, or probably even start collecting data on those lines, and then think actively and then extract these information. This is called as dark data. Okay, if you see the link that I mentioned, a lot of data points that you collect in the industry is called as dark data, which is never used. So try to start exploring those data and coming up with good insights.
Another example is like here, when I was working with the DBS Bank earlier on, so a lot of times we know that we used to do the transactions, and from the when we purchase something or we send money to someone, so OTP used to come on our phone and all that. And right now it involves a lot of cost with the maintenance of the systems and the servers, and getting this with the telecom companies, their collaboration and all that, and it costs a lot. So right now what the companies has come up with this thing to minimize their cost is, whenever you try to do something, authentication message comes on your screen, and if you approve it, the things will be done, and your SMS system, your telecom, all these things have been removed. Yes, these things are working in that particular path.
Now, Sunil, coming to the next question, this is possible to cater to almost every type of audience that is sitting here. So, how's the mindset of Sunil evolved? Okay, when Sunil was a fresher, and this is very specific to data science. Okay, data science and AI. When Sunil was a fresher, was mid-experienced, and now heavily experienced. So, what has changed in your mindset over the years? What were your learnings? It's a little generalized question, probably a very big answer, but if you can summarize it and say a few paragraphs.
Okay. First of all, I still think that I don't know data science. Trust me. I do not think that I can rate myself because if I think from that particular perspective, then I'll become complacent and all that. The mindset is the days since I started thinking from the business perspective. Okay. And because I was very much curious initially when I started my career, I was looking into the technical things. Okay. Later on, what happens is, uh, let me tell you a better example. I have worked with Infosys also for 3 years in Pune. So and that time I started working on SaaS, and I used to get uh, as a techno-functional role at that time. And with the experience of just 4 years, I've been asked to manage a team, and it was such a, you can't even imagine, it was very difficult. Like 4 years of experience with like managing the team. So and when the clients started talking from the business perspective and the functionality perspective, and a lot of times they used to tell us, so with this thing we are going to do this, with this particular model which you are going to build, and with this particular data we are going to implement in these particular areas. So my curiosity to learn the business, understanding how it is going to benefit from the bigger picture, till now kept me my curiosity to learn the things from the technical perspective. And honestly, it will not happen over time. It's not that you will read for 18 hours or something like that. Trust me. It's been almost 2 years that I'm reading the newsletters, and still now daily morning when I'm having my coffee, I just subscribe to some of the newsletter. I read only one. Within 10 minutes, the newsletter is over, and like that. And after a certain time, understanding how the things are going on, it's just the practice. Keep your curiosity always open and do that. And never say that I'm that much experienced, I cannot do this thing, I don't want to learn this thing. You will be, I just want to share that I'm planning for my next week, I'm having my AWS certification. Although I'm all masters leading the team, I can think that why should I know? Why should I do? No, but still I'm going for AWS cloud practitioner. And after that, by the end of this year, I might be go for solution architect to increase my learning and all. So just keep on doing, learn. You will get baffled, you will get irritated, you will get tensed, you see that you're not going anywhere. But trust me, guys, down the line, after, in fact, just look at yourself after 3 months, you will feel that you know a much better things what you knew earlier on, once you started reading the things other from the technical perspective. Don't open train test data 80-20% model. You can Google it, you can get it anywhere. Stack Overflow will provide you n number of solutions. Trust me, anything will provide. But how, why, what are the most important. Keep how in the later, what, why is most important. So Suchit, my curiosity towards learning the business is the one which still keeps me going on into the analytics. And I want to tell you, quite a lot after a long time, I realized that I was working with analytics. At that time, I think it was from the technical perspective, and from the ETL, we are building the solutions. We are just implementing if then else loop and creating some solutions. It was altogether the proper data science. It was like that. So no other option. Go on and on, practice and read the business. And books is okay, but trust me, from the industrial perspective, read the case studies, research papers sometimes if you have. Try to read the case study of Netflix recommendation engine, which is, I think, $1 million case study. I think, Suchit, you are aware of that one.
No.
Remember? Yeah, Netflix case study, $1 million. Yeah. And I think, that case study, it has not been implemented in Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of people might not be aware of it. So, how many of you participated in Kaggle? So, Kaggle had this competition that Netflix had done.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's a different story altogether. So, Sunil, so one thing that I definitely kind of liked in the way you explain this answer, that is, one, learning should be your constant effort. That's the only constant that you should always have in your career, that you keep learning. You'll find a lot of things that you may not understand. You'll find a lot of things that are daunting. You'll find a lot of things that will scare you to death. Okay, but don't stop. You got to keep pursuing, right? And I have a very, very interesting comment from Pratiksha. Says that I'm a fresher. Yeah, so Pratiksha is saying I'm a fresher. I feel nervous because I'm not able to understand most of the things that you are currently speaking. Pratiksha, this is exactly what happened to me possibly when I was of your age, and same possibly to Sunil when he was of your age. Doesn't matter. Okay? The good thing is at least you're getting exposed to these things which a lot of people at your age are not getting exposed. Take it as a positive and keep pursuing things constantly. Like, it's not a one-day effort, it's not a 1 month effort, it's not a 1 year effort, it's a lifelong effort. Okay, so even if Sunil today is saying that in spite of not being a programmer or not working on programs directly or not being practicing data science like himself, he's not doing everything. He has a team to do it. Okay? But still, if he is willing to go out of that zone and do a cloud certification, that speaks volumes about you as an individual. It shows that how open-minded you are. Okay, so step one is open up. The only mindset which I think Sunil has agreed that at all levels, what he realized is keep opening your mind. Okay, have an open mindset to everything, and you can easily cover this base. Okay, so it really doesn't matter what your experience. So over to you, Sunil.
So it has been written in a lot of places. Learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. But trust me, if it's from the learning perspective, never say no. Trust me. I moved to the FMCG, Suchit, after 13 years. I already had my own comfort level in the banking, and I've changed altogether, looking into the things on the desk. Just keep your mind open. Pretty much sure you will feel very uncomfortable for a long time, at least 2 months, 3 months. New industry and different expectations, learning and working. It's like that. But who says
if you don't have an open mind, you'll never be able to learn, and if you don't learn, you'll never have an open mind. So it's like a cycling process. You keep learning and you open your mind, you only create a great exposure for yourself. Okay. Now the next question. Okay, I think Jignesh had some point around. Is there a hackathon going on? So there seems to be some data competition going on with Unilever and MRSI. Are you aware of it by any chance?
No, I'm not
aware. Okay, probably Jigna, you might have to share the link and others can just refer to it. But yeah, Sunil might not be the right person for this. Okay. So I mean, we are at time, but we are post time, by the way. But I have tons of other questions, which I don't think we'll be able to wrap up all the questions. But let's talk about one very interesting question. Now, we talked about you as an individual from step by step, right? So step one as a fresher, then as an intermediate, then as an experience. But a lot of people are in this bracket right now, okay? And they're starting data science here. Luckily, I mean, we can always go back to that reference that you actually have been doing data science forever, which I would like you to answer here, because I remember a lot of students in the past have told this answer, but a lot of people here actually don't know this answer. So can you explain them that if you're an experienced person and you're starting data science now, what should you do?
If I'm experienced in starting the data science, my only suggestion is learn the things, but not exactly till the extreme depth. Try to learn what is data science, how it is getting implemented, and try to correlate with the experience which you are having right now. That is the only thing. And again, the different companies have the different requirements. So it again depends which organization is what they are looking for. I can tell you when I was with GOB in my internship time and job time, I was working as an IC. So first of all, leave this thing from your mind that why should I work in IC if I'm an experienced one? It doesn't matter. If you look at the startups of 4 or 5, 6, 7 people, all the people are working as an individual contributor while building the model and creating the solutions. So first of all, keep that thing aside. And if you want to go into the data science, learn what is data science, how they are booming right now, how it is going to impact and make the things more realistic, put the value add on, and try to correlate all the things from your business perspective, what the work you have done make the correlation with that will give you a better understanding how to approach ahead. Every industry has a different way to go for the data scientist. So that is the only thing you should know what because understanding is makes you, if someone says I'm doing this, so you should have the counter question. Okay, show me what you're doing this. What the things where you're facing the challenge. If you don't know what he is doing, then it becomes very difficult. It's like someone is talking A and you're talking B. No. Data science knowledge is right now very, very important from every perspective. Learn it and try to correlate it in whatever industry experience you have, and it will make you to go into that direction. Again, if you want to be technical, then it is altogether a different ball game. Learn the coding and learn the algorithms and all that, and go into that one. There are a lot of fintechs are coming on, joint venture capitals are coming on. They who are looking along with the business, understanding very well, and they want very hard for techie guys, techie geeks. It's up to their personal science. So I don't have that much interest right now in coding. Although I can do it whenever is required for me in Python for creating the dashboard sometimes. But yes, everyone own area of interest.
Yeah.
But yes, yes.
To a great extent, Sunil, not having a great exposure to coding also gives you one leverage, one extra brownie point, which is you don't think like a techie.
No. Yes. Like I am quite okay right now.
But when you think like a techie, what happens is you fail to see the bigger picture. Oftentimes, as a techie, we are so focused on computers that we forget there are humans. And business.
Yes.
And businesses are working on humans. They are working for humans.
See, so first of all, we should be very much clear, like the shape of T. You see like one straight line horizontal and one vertical line. So we have to be very much clear in which part you want to be, the horizontal and the vertical. I want to be on the horizontal. So I keep my approach in that particular way. So it gives me focused. What should I learn? What should I not learn? And what are the extra and additional things I should learn to keep my horizon broad and to go into which direction. Like it's the personal choice, experience and all that. Because right now in 15 years of experience, if I interview right now, I also give a lot of times interviews. No one asks me, Sunil, can you write down import pandas as PD, import numpy as NP? But yes, I know it, how the teams are working. If the code is written in front of me and I can read it, I can debug it right now. Because I've done coding in Python and R as well, and SAS. So yes, if the things are not working, I can troubleshoot it very easily. Not a big deal, but yes. It's the experience, learning, keep your mind open, never say no. Whatever you are going to do, keep it focused and see what you're going to learn, how you're going to implement it. That's it. Not go blindly and try to relate, oh, this model and that model. Okay, these things are important. So these things are making a connection between the things which you're learning. It would be like that. If you have this approach, trust me, it is the best and the optimized approach. You are going to get better understanding, better learning, and able to keep all the things very clean in front of you. Yes.
So friends, there's a link that is shared on your chat window for quick feedback. So please make sure, again, we are collecting data by the way. So please make sure you fill up the form and give us some good data. Any kind of data is good for us. So just feel free to fill up the form and share this information with us. Sunil, as you mentioned, like it doesn't really matter even if you're say 15, 17 years of experience and you're starting fresh in data science, it's a perspective. The perspective is that you have done data science forever. If you have dealt with data, you have done some sort of data science, may not be the formal way of doing it, but you still have done it. Okay, so you have done some sort of analysis, you have done some sort of research. However, with 17 years of experience, you're not starting as a fresher in data science. You just upgrade yourself. You're a newer version of you. Okay, like Android, they improve the UI, and they say that this is a newer version of your current operating system. So likewise, as individuals also, as humans also, we got to keep upgrading our skill sets. So at 17 years, you upgraded your skill sets. You're a little more fancier version of you. Okay, somebody who knows how to understand and take decisions more scientifically as opposed to in a more scratch manner that you have done in the past. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you are currently in an organization. What is important is, are you using data science to make better or more wiser decisions than what you were doing yesterday? With that, Sunil, I think we would like to stop here. We have taken enough your extra time, but at the same time, it was really it's really awesome interacting with you, and this brings in a lot of memories for me as well, and especially I really love the point that you picked up that we used to discuss back then. So, friends, as all of you who have been participating in the Southeast Asia conference, okay, we brought in speakers from Malaysia, Singapore, okay. I hope this brings in that idea and that aspect into your mindset that data science is not very different across the planet. Okay, we had European data science week last year. This year we had Southeast Asia. Okay, and if you just listen to all of these speakers very in a very focused manner, what you'll understand is the idea of data science globally is not different. It is not any different than what you already know, okay, or what you already do back here in India as well. It's just the mindset, okay, that you need to set, okay, when you are trying to attack a particular problem. You got to open up to the idea that there are smarter ways and more scientific ways to deal with these problems. Across the globe, these ways don't change much. Okay. There might be different people in different parts of the world, but ultimately the problem is the same for all of us because it's a human problem. And these human problems can be solved using techniques of data science very simply. From all the sessions that you have attended in this data science conference, what I would recommend all of you to do is make a short write-up for yourselves, if not for anybody else, but for yourselves. What are the key pointers, key takeaways that you had from every session? Okay. Keep it with you or share it with your friends or share it over LinkedIn, whatever you want to do it, but do it. Okay. So keep that reference point handy with you so that at any point of time you feel that, okay, how would I improve myself over the next few weeks or next few months or next few years? Okay, you can refer to these core insights that all of these speakers have shared with you. And one of the most important insights that we learned in today's session was please keep upgrading yourself. Okay. Now, when I say upgrading yourself means you have to enroll into very expensive courses and possibly do MS or an MBA, the answer is no. Okay. Learning is not very expensive if you think about it like that. Okay. If you want to learn something like Sunil, what he does is he follows a lot of these articles, okay, or newsletters. And Sunil, if you can spend a minute or 30 seconds to tell us some of the articles that you follow personally, okay, that'll be great. So you can do that, or you can just go ahead and watch some videos on YouTube. Okay, reading articles gives you a lot of insights, but if you're a little lazy or you don't like to read, somebody like me, we watch YouTube videos. So there are like tons of things outside. It's not that you need to have means to learn. Okay, if that were the case, no poor guy would have been rich ever in this world. Okay, so you don't need means to learn; you need attitude to learn. Okay? And anybody with a good attitude can always learn. Okay. So Sunil, before we wrap up, some insights from your end as to what are the newsletters that you actively follow and some of the Medium articles or possibly anything that you follow actively.
I forgot to point this one. There is an app, Medium, I think, which everyone is aware of right now on the iPhone and this one, Android. Medium is one. Subscribe to it, take the membership. It's hardly, I think, 200 to 50 rupees for like that for per month. But trust me, the kind of articles they used to give is the best one. So I used to read the articles from Medium a lot. Second thing is I'm subscribed to HBR also. And in HBR, there is analytics. HBR is Harvard Business Review. They have their analytics newsletter altogether different. I used to read that. Then if you search on the Google, there are a lot of like one from analytics, Dimag, or but mainly maximum times I used to read it from Medium. And if you try to search how automation industry using analytics to move on and booming them, take the industry sector along with the data science, they will come up with a lot of news articles, a lot of newspapers. Try to read them. You will get a basic understanding because in the end, if it's a common sense how they are trying to make the revenue, you can understand it. Then you start conceptualizing it, make the solution in your mind, how they are moving, and then you will be able to relate, oh, things which you are learning, companies are taking advantage and companies are implementing these solutions. And remember one thing, Never say model. It's not a data science model. It's a solution which we are providing. So see from the solutions perspective, not from the model perspective. Model is altogether, model is a part of the solution. Don't make it as a solution. That is the most important. Learn from that particular perspective, industry, data science, industry, analytics, anything, whatever you see, it will be like that. Me, Sujit, I normally follow Maxim. I used to read from Medium mainly, and HBR also.
Yeah. So I mean, to be very fair, if you don't want to subscribe to any kind of subscription channels, Google and Medium is your best friend. Okay. Even Medium, though, you got to subscribe, but what you can do is you can open an incognito mode and read as many articles as you want. But anyway, that's just a hack for all of you. But Google, you'll find everything on this planet. Every knowledge that you need, you'll find it on this planet. You'll write there in Google. So please make sure that all of you follow this actively. And one final input from your end, Sunil, if people aspire to work in Singapore and probably in Unilever, what is your suggestion?
Any reason for typical for Unilever, or is it like generic? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. This is possibly the most important question. You see in the chat window, people are saying, you got to share some secrets. How did you do
it? See, when I come to the Singapore for the first time, it was 2016. And that time for expats, Singapore market was quite open, quite easy to come here. And I applied on monster.com, and Sunil has called me from there. Has called me in for the interview. They have one round of interview, and it was okay. And I come here. After I lived in Singapore at that time for 1.5 years, then I came back to India, and I lived there for 1.5 years due to some reasons. And then I don't know how all of a sudden I think that let's go for the master's after 14 years. I don't know. No, I was looking at something and let's go for the master's. So doing the master's here will open certain gates for me to apply for the good companies and the consulting firms. So it's like that. Else apply on the monster.com, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best thing which you come. Otherwise, I'm working here because I have done my master's from NUS, so it's like that. So to be honest,
yeah. So I mean, in that sense, Sunil had a leverage that he was doing his master's there. That's why it was a tad bit easier to kind of crack a role there. But as you heard from Sunil, and possibly I remember one more speaker in the past had mentioned that apply to local Monster websites.
Local Monster.
So what are the local job sites there? So Monster has like domain.
Monster.com/SG.
/SG, yeah.
Yes, so, that is the thing.
Yeah, if you want to apply to Singapore, go to monster.com/SG and apply there and see a lot of companies who are willing to give you that chance for you to settle there and work there.
They will sponsor your visa and you will come here.
Yeah, they might even sponsor the visa, yeah. Or otherwise, even if you get a job, you can sponsor your own visa and go there.
No. You cannot sponsor your job visa here.
No, I mean, you can pay the amount, but they can give you the letter for working there. Yes. Right? So something that a lot of people do for US. I stay in Hyderabad, so Telangana, like everybody wants to go to US.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you can actually do the visa processing fee for yourself and you can go there. But again, yeah, like Shan, I also believe there's a lot of potential back here in India. And
yes, one point I really want to share with all of the guys right now. If you are if you're looking from the international exposure perspective, Singapore is amazing because it is one of the financial capitals of the world. Such as you're aware of that, like Hong Kong, Berlin, Tokyo, New York, London, and all that. It is mainly the financial capital. But right now, another place which is right now booming from the data analytics and the data science perspective is Dubai. Trust me. Dubai is right now like
games and bounds. So Indonesia, Dubai, and Malaysia to some extent. So these are other places that is booming. But again, India is
India.
Yeah, you can't compare. We might call in speakers from all over the world, but again, I'll repeat for all of you. The fastest growing economy, even in today's world, when a lot of industries are seeing downturns, a lot of geographies are seeing downturns, is India. Okay, so India still has a huge potential. There's no limit to what are the capabilities that are there in India and what are the things that are happening. A very simple example is how companies that are going global. Okay, so when I say global, like Fresh Desk, right? It IPO'd in Nasdaq. Okay, so likewise, Zoho is creating for the world. Okay, so I mean, there are tons of opportunities, and it's just exploding. It's just exploding left, right, center in India. So India is just in the very nascent phases, and if you really want to do something great, this is one place you can do a lot of things. Okay, but
real talent is in India. The education, the way it has been structured and it has been taught in a particular streamlined direction, it is in India. Trust me. Rest everywhere, they expect you that you have a certain level already, else it becomes difficult a lot of times. Trust me, it is the best way. I'm able to survive here because I have done my education, schooling, everything, my initial years of experience in India, and it was easy then. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult sometimes. But India is honestly, from the education perspective and everything, nothing can beat the way it has been taught to us in India from the courses perspective. Like I had a discussion earlier on also. You remember initially when I joined, and the course has been the course you have structured. Like, trust me, you cannot find it anywhere. It was like from the very first moment, go.
Thank you for that insight, Sunil. And we have way past time. Sorry for that, but thanks for the valuable info you shared. And with that, friends, we wrap up our CR conference. Thank you to all the speakers, and thank you to Sunil for the wonderful chat that we had today. It's really nice to interact with students, especially because as a company, as an individual, you feel really proud when you see somebody doing awesome work across the globe. Okay, so this is a great inspiration for all of you. So thanks for that. I'm done for this conference. Have a great journey ahead. Please make sure that you actively utilize these notes.
Keep learning. Keep learning. Yeah. No other option.
Keep learning, yeah.
No other option.
Sunil just told something that I've been telling everybody forever. Just keep learning. Yeah.
No shortcut.
Thank you, friends. This is all from our end. Any parting words, Sunil?
Thank you. Cheers. Rocking. It's a weekend. Don't take too much stress. Just keep it simple, as simple.
Yeah, keep it simple and keep learning. That's it. Thank you, friends. You may all terminate your session now. We are done for this entire conference. Have a great career ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sunil. Bye.
Bye-bye.